the former IPS officer, the top IPS officer, Kiran Bedi ji, and the former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry joining us here on the broadcast. Ma'am, thank you very much for taking out your time and speaking to us here on the situation there, because there has been growing concern. The Prime Minister's security has never been compromised, ma'am. And looking at the situation, what happened in Punjab, in Firozpur, what do you have to say?
Look, from day one, I've been searching to see the senior-most police officers present on the site. I've been looking for the administration's presence, because the Prime Minister's security demands the presence of the Chief Secretary, the DGP, the Collector of the district, the Home Secretary, and certainly the Home Minister, including the Chief Minister. In this case, I think he's both a two in one. I've been all along searching, where are they? Where are they? I think we need to know, why have they been absent? Is this a plan of absence? Is there a prior plan to be absent? Did they know what was going to happen to be absent? I think it's very, very important, because if they knew what's going to happen, then obviously there's a huge explanation to give. And number two, if the DGP is absent by design, then I think we need to, the service, the Indian Police Service, it's a failure of the service. It's a failure of the administration. The IAS service must ask its own Chief Secretary, why were you absent? Were you instructed to be absent? Were you absent by just lethargy, whatever it's too cold? DGP needs to be asked, why were you absent? Were you absent by choice, or were you told not to be present? I think the absence is reflective of a likely design. That's the threat. That's the anxiety. That's because, you see, these services are permanent, and they are trained by law, and they're accountable by law to their own service till the last day of their breath, to serve the security of the state. Whatever the instructions, yes or no, we do not know. But I am asking, as an IPS officer, that I want to know, where was our DGP? Where was our Chief Secretary? Where was the district collector? Where was the district magistrate? Where was the Home Secretary? Where was the Home Minister? Politician one side, administration on the other side. While the politicians may explain their own reasons, and they owe it to their own electorate, certainly. Because I don't think, as a woman from Punjab, as an Indian police officer, it's got anything to do with my culture of Punjab. Sorry, culture of Punjab stands for tremendous giving. Punjab stands for giving. Punjab stands for protection. I am a Punjabi. I stand for protection. I stand for giving. I stand for service. That's what our gurus have taught us, to serve the people, to protect the people, to give to the people, give security, including what I'm saying. I am, as an IPS officer, asking, where was my DGP? Were you told not to be present? And if you were told to be present, then who told you? And were you bound by that direction? Because had he been present there, please understand, if he was present there, none of this could have happened, number one. If he was present there, he could have cautioned the SPG well in time that I'm failing to remove anybody from the road, and therefore to avoid a confrontation, we need to do the follow. It is his wireless. So what kind of messages? And number three, we always have a VIP arrangement made, a route arrangement made, who is supervising, and there's always under the overall supervision of an IGP or whoever, divisional commissioner. It is all there. I think we need to see the copy of the arrangement. What kind of arrangement was laid on the entire route? Because every route is sanitized. Every inch, there is a route arrangement. There is a briefing. There's a prior briefing. And all these strategies are taught. I think I'm asking these questions as an IPS officer, because it's a service which has got the hit. Because if this service is the prime protector of the country, it's security, including its VIPs and Prime Minister's security, to my mind, this happening on a bridge, on a bridge is very, very serious, because here there's no escape route. I think it's a design. But if you have put it on a bridge, it's a design, because the bridge is like an ambush. It's an ambush. You can ambush the person concerned. In fact, the best way, it's an ambush. I think our Prime Minister was ambushed. we're very lucky that the Prime Minister of India has finally reached safely. But it's an ambush. And to prevent this ambush was the primary responsibility of the Chief Secretary and the DGP. Because Chief Secretary heads the civil administration and the DGP heads the police administration. And they are the prime protectors. Have they protected? And if they fail to protect, they have to explain. Is it their individual decision failure or is it a directed failure? Both ways, they are culpable. And similarly, the district collector of that place, of the district, was he present there? Did he receive? If he received the Prime Minister, nothing like this could have happened. That means the absence of the administration is very, very suspicious. Why were they absent? Because had they been present, nothing like this, friends, can happen. So this is my anxiety. My anxiety is, please do not rope us as Punjab. We are not, we stand for giving, we stand for sacrifice, we stand for compassion, we stand for love, or we stand for large-heartedness to embrace, we embrace people. We embrace people. We don't do that. So please don't mix it, because I'm also getting hit the moment you start talking about my culture. No, no, no. My culture is Guru culture. It's loving culture. It's bhakti culture. It's giving culture. It's serving culture. So I think the IPS, the DGP, I'm so glad in the newspapers that DGP has been called to explain. Where is the Chief Secretary? Has he been called? Yes, he called the collectors, call the district magistrates, call the SPs, but you suspended the SP. I'm not against any service. I'm for performance of a service. Has the service performed? The service to IAS and the IPS, they are both primarily responsible for law and order. Where you don't have a police commissionerate, police is securely, the district magistrate and the SP share a common responsibility. Why has the district collector been let out? Why isn't it? Because we must give the right message to the services that if you are in a position, then you're accountable. You're not just for the chairs. You're not for positions. You're for performance and avoid crises and then deal with the problems and not leave the problems. Not leave and not create problems. You're not there to create problems. You are here to solve the problems. You're there to solve a crisis and not create a crisis. In this case, I think this is an administrative created crisis where either it's their own lethargy or they've been tutored. I do not know. I hope I'm wrong. They've been told. I hope I'm wrong. They've been directed. I hope I'm wrong. But if they've been done that, you had the capacity to say no. You had a duty, responsibility to reject and say no. That's what you're trained for. Recently, I saw a very, very good article in the Times of India where the cabinet secretary, Mr. Govt, has told the bureaucracy, saying, stop pushing files. Stop saying may see, may see, may see, may approve, may see, not approve, may see for information. He says, stop pushing the files. I saw this about just 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. Very nice article he's written to all the bureaucrats saying, stop saying may see. Stop saying may see. It's enough you take decisions and take responsibility and accountability. Let's understand these senior positions in the Indian Police Service or in the All India Civil Services are for performance, are for responsibility, are for accountability, are for rule of law, are for protection, and protection of all, supermost of the political executive of this country. The Prime Minister is the political executive, the face of the country, the leadership of the country, the democracy of this country. How can he be ambushed? He or she, in this case, it's a he be ambushed and retained for 20 minutes. Well, my God, it was an ambush for 20 minutes. Ambush just needs a few minutes. What were they waiting for? Something to blast, something to blow off, and it's a bridge. That means anything under the bridge could have been blown off. Supposing a time bomb was ticking below, he could have been blasted off. And you know, there are remote bombs. They could have been blasted from across the border. You have actually put at stake the democracy of this country, leadership of this country. That's a clear failure, first beginning with clearly visible. I do not know the visibility of others. As I say, I don't see because I've seen we have all in our uniforms doing our duty from constable to the DGP when the Prime Minister is on the route. Prime Minister is at the place of function. Until the Prime Minister's plane departs, and it cannot be seen from nowhere. And it is told Prime Minister safely flown out. Only then we leave airports. Only then we leave the roads. We don't leave otherwise. Where were they? From the beginning till the end. I think we owe it. The service, I think in our Indian Police Service Association and all others are all asking the same question. Same question. And I think the logbooks, the WhatsApp messages of all these officers, the emails accounts must be taken. What kind of conversation has gone between who said what at what time is very, very important. And I think these officers, if they've been lethargic and they've or carried out wrong orders, or they've misinterpreted orders, or they've been misguided, have to be out of the service. They've got to be leaving the service. Please leave the service not like that. This is not the way. Don't leave the service with this blot that you, as an administration, you could ambush the Honorable Prime Minister of this country, the chief political executive. We have the constitutional head in the Honorable President of India, but the elected political representative of the country has elected. It has been in an ambush. I see them in an ambush, and the DGP, the Chief Secretary, the Home Secretary, the Home Minister, the Collector, the DCs, the SPs, all missing. There has to be a design. What is that design? Let the Chief Secretary and DGP declare. If there was no design, come clean. If there's a design, come clean. But don't rope in the entire Punjab in your own failure. Sorry, please don't rope in Punjab. I'm part of Punjab. Don't rope me in. I'm an IPS officer asking another IPS officer. I'm a civil service, All India service. I'm asking another All India civil officer. Please explain.
Right, because Dr. Bedi, there has been multiple videos, ma'am, that has been doing the rounds. And what does the protocol really mandate in such impromptu conditions, or even if there are roadblocks? Because it remains to be as the duty of the state police. When the Prime Minister is moving, the entire road has to be sanitized. The roadblocks have to be cleared using the force used by the state police. And what were we looking at, ma'am, in those videos? That the state policemen were actually sipping chai with those protesters who had created that roadblocks. Videos also have emerged, ma'am, the close proximity wherein it comes to those protesters. They were barely a few meters away from where the cavalcade of the Prime Minister was stopped atop that flyover.
That means, had the police, had the administrative leadership driven on the road prior? Did the DC drive on the road? Did the SP drive on the road? Did the DGP drive on the road? And then it's a sensitive border. Honorable Prime Minister is coming all the way, taking all the risk, coming to the state for whatever reasons. Obviously, one of the major reasons was provide infrastructure to the state, provide infrastructure. That means the state would have been a gainer by his announcements. What are you losing? What are we losing? So I think, and it's next to the border across. The Chief Secretary, the DGP, all could have been in one car driving together. You think it would have happened? You would have had these kind of congregations where policemen taking tea with the agitators? No. Look, agitators can have their own anger, etc. But they cannot ambush Prime Minister's car. They cannot. They cannot. They can have a place to agitate. They can be given a place, and that can be contained. We managed VIP routes with agitations. We've all done it all our lives. And so are everybody's trained. They're experienced. Why couldn't they do that? They could have been given a place. And I believe, according to newspaper reports, inquiries will show that they had prior information of this. If they had, then what precautions did they take? They should have been on that route themselves, because they owed a national responsibility to protect the security of the highest political executive of this country, through who is the image of this country, who is the Prime Minister, the President of India, the Prime Minister are the images of this country. They are our face. They are our face. You may like them or you not doesn't. No, you are respecting a position, a constitutional position, a highest position, which has to be respected and protected. Respected and that's your duty. By the way, you're paid for it. The DGP is the Chief Secretary. You're paid for it. You get all the privileges for this. You can't run away. You can't just claim privileges and run away from performance. You cannot. You cannot claim high positions, orderlies, houses, cars, all the facilities, and not perform at the time of when you're needed. Then what are the privileges for? You're paid for it. You're not paying out of your own pocket. When you're transporting, the government of India, the public exchequer is paying for it. What are you paying back? You have to pay back by your honest duty, sincere duty, hard work duty. Have you done that? On the contrary, you let us down. We are lucky that we've escaped an ambush. Supposing there was a ticking bomb behind under the bridge, what would have happened? India would have seen this and would have made a big mockery of this Indian democracy and of all its Indian police service, Indian IS service, the UPSC, where everybody wants to join. Well, these are prestigious services. The ultimate destination every young person I've seen wants to be in. But this is not what you're appointed for. This is not you trained for. You may get directions, you may not get direction. But what's your duty? What's your training? What's your conscience? Answer that. Do your duty. Otherwise, you fail to do it. And if you fail to do this duty, I think you have to leave. Immediately leave. You should be tried for it.
And this was a matter that was also raised by the SG yesterday in court when he said that it was a matter that had caused international embarrassment. And there was a real and imminent threat to the Prime Minister there, ma'am, because we have been putting out multiple videos and there has been intel notes also that the Prime Minister was facing threats, mainly from Pakistani-based organization, and also there is a Khalistani link that is also being probed. But we'll continue talking on that. Dr. Bedi, ma'am, thank you very much for taking out your time and helping us understand as far as the police's perspective and our security services perspective is concerned on this matter concerning the Prime Minister's security lapse. Thank you, ma'am.
No, sorry, I'm talking about administrative machinery perspective. Yes, you are stopping to include Chief Secretary. You're not including Home Secretary. You're not including Home Minister. It's not police, it's police plus. But primary responsibility of the DGP and the Chief Secretary. From DGP down the line to the Constable, Chief Secretary down to the line of the last PN. These are the two responsible. You don't only talk police, talk administrative, because when it comes to the appointments, the Chief Secretary appoints. So many makes appointment. Where is he now? Where is he? So I think we must take them along so that they don't have the escape routes and exit doors. We have to correct both the services to perform the duty.
So the collective responsibility, ma'am, that is a better way to put it. As far as Prime Minister's security sabotage is concerned. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm completely running out of time, but thank you very much for taking out your time and speaking to us. Thank you, ma'am.